Peppa notices her tooth feels funny while brushing. It's Wobbly. She rushes to show Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig, and George. Look, my tooth is moving. Daddy Pig tells Peppa how he lost his first tooth and got a shiny coin from the Tooth Fairy. Peppa shares her wobbly tooth story at school. All her friends are amazed. Madame Gazelle talks about baby teeth and how it's normal to lose them. Susie Sheep says, "You have to put it under your pillow. The Tooth Fairy needs it." Peppa keeps playing with her tooth all day. While eating a crunchy apple, the tooth suddenly comes out. "Where's my tooth?" Peppa shouts. It's gone. Mummy Pig, George, and even Goldie the fish start searching. They check the floor and under the table. No tooth. Peppa wonders if it flew outside. They check the grass, the swing, the mud puddle. "Maybe a dinosaur took it," says George. Peppa giggles but keeps looking. Daddy Pig helps Peppa draw a map of everywhere she's been. They visit Miss Rabbit at the supermarket in case Peppa dropped it while shopping. Peppa makes a lost tooth poster and puts it up on trees. They come over and help search. Grandpa brings a magnifying glass. George finds something small and white in the toy box. It's just a pebble. Peppa starts to worry. What if the Tooth Fairy can't find me without the tooth? Mummy Pig hugs Peppa. Sometimes things get lost, but the Tooth Fairy might understand. Daddy Pig reads a book about magical fairies and one about missing things always being found. Peppa dreams about the Tooth Fairy searching with a magnifying glass. George makes a drawing of Peppa's tooth and puts it under his pillow to help. Peppa writes a note for the Tooth Fairy explaining what happened. They brush teeth, change into pajamas, and set up a pillow with a note under it. Peppa can't stop thinking about whether the fairy will come. Late at night, sparkles appear in the room. A tiny light flutters by. The Tooth Fairy, with sparkly wings, reads Peppa's letter carefully. The Tooth Fairy smiles, sprinkles glitter, and leaves something shiny. Peppa wakes up and finds a shiny gold coin and a tiny note. The note says, "Dear Peppa, thank you for your honesty. I found your letter magical." Peppa rushes to show Mummy, Daddy, and George the coin and the fairy's note. Peppa brings her coin to school and tells her classmates everything. Pedro Pony says, "Wow, even without the tooth she still came." Madame Gazelle gives Peppa a gold sticker for responsibility and creativity. Peppa thanks George for his drawing and brave idea. "You're the best little brother." Peppa makes a special box for her coin, fairy note, and drawings. They celebrate with pancakes, and Peppa tells the whole story again twice. Later that week, Peppa notices another tooth starting to wobble. Peppa grins in the mirror. "I'm growing up," she says proudly, with one tiny gap in her smile.